Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another reaction video. In this one, we got a video called The Sixers Just Got Terrible News. I'm actually unaware of what's going on, so we're going to go ahead and check it out. The thumbnail had Joel Embiid on it, so I'm going to guess it's about Joel Embiid, but let's check it out.
On paper, the Sixers could easily make the NBA Finals. They have recent MVP Joel Embiid, Paul.
Yeah, man. Time to find a new YouTube video, man. Did I just hear that correctly? Did I just hear that correctly? This has got to be a joke, right? Hold on, let me hear this again.
On paper, the Sixers could easily make the NBA Finals.
All right, I'm not trusting a single thing this dude says.
They have recent MVP Joel Embiid, Paul George, elite youth and Tyrese.
They're washed.
Like number 3 pick VJ Edgecombe, Kyle Lowry, Quentin Grimes with a.
Don't get me wrong. I think Tyrese Maxey and Edgecombe are going to be nice. But I don't see them being a finals team. I'm telling you right now, I don't agree with that.
Contract Jared McCain and Kelly
Hell
Oubre.
no.
As good of a top 8
I said
as
Kelly
you'll
Oubre.
find on paper. Other teams are terrible. This year, the East has seen the Celtics, Pacers, and Bucks all take.
Okay, we don't
got
gotta talk about that, bro.
Just fired Tom Thibodeau, best coach they've had in years, for Mike Brown, who's won a single playoff series in 12 years.
So what if they do good in the
Outside of
East? It
Philly,
doesn't mean that they're going to win it all.
at all. Their fan base is more hopeless than they have been in years. Why? Well, they did just get some terrible news. But first, what does the NBA think of Philly's chances?
I don't like
well,
Embiid,
nothing
bro.
shows how important an NBA team is as how many national TV games they get. And Philly went from 27 last year to 14. That is a 13-game difference from last season, the biggest downgrade in the entire NBA. No games on Christmas or MLK Day. Zero spotlight the entire first week. The NBA's basically saying, yo, Sixers, you guys are gonna suck. We want nothing to do with you. But then they had to go and get savage. The Sixers just found out their new schedule, and Philly has maybe the toughest in the entire league. They've got an NBA high.
Okay, maybe it's not about Embiid.
Back-to-backs, which is a killer for a team with their injury issues.
They said they got
why
16
did they do this to
back-to-backs.
Philly? They're already down. Why they gotta bury them? Well, the NBA doesn't just guess on these things, okay? They're looking at something. Maybe the same thing that Philly fans are panicking about. Because, yeah, the schedule is brutal, but the real fear isn't what's on the schedule, is what's not on the schedule. Like whether Joel Embiid will even be ready day one, because we just got an
And you're telling me this team is capable of making the finals?
update with huge red flags. Let's just say if you followed the Lonzo Ball situation, this should make you very nervous. But summer's here, and
Bruh, get out of here, bruh. I ain't paying for nothing you trying to sell me, bruh. Get this ad over with, bruh.
Embiid finally got his MVP over Nikola Jokic with 33 points a game, 10 boards, and 4 assists in 66 games. But he took a major step back in 2024, playing just 34 games. The problem was a torn meniscus that required surgery. But instead of taking it easy that summer, dude just had to go play for Team USA in the Olympics. So a year ago, we saw Embiid win gold, but shocker,
Bro, he got
those
so
knee
much hate for
issues
that.
came back real quick. He had swelling and pain from day one of training camp and played just 19 games all season.
That's when he made fun of
But the
Indiana,
real
bro.
problem, we never got a clear explanation on what was even wrong with him. The Sixers kept fans, players, and coaches in the dark. Embiid's coach, Nick Nurse, just had to stand out there in front of cameras making excuses all year. But now, after a whole season out and a full summer to rehab, Nurse said this: I know Joel is working very, very hard, and I think things look good, but, you know, whether he's ready for training camp or not, I think there's maybe a lot more decisions than that to make before we get there. What? How is that possible? Dude hasn't played basketball in forever. How is he not ready? Well, the mystery makes you think of two other players, Kawhi Leonard, for example, had quad tendonitis in 2017, which is a weird injury for an NBA player. The Spurs eventually cleared him, but Kawhi insisted things just didn't feel right. This led to a huge fallout in San Antonio, who eventually traded him, and Kawhi has had a list of mysterious and legit injuries ever since. In fact, dude has missed more games than he's played since 2017, and the Clippers usually call it knee soreness. That sounds like I banged my knee on the couch, not I'm gonna ruin my entire career. Which
Facts.
means that any team
Hey,
built
he's
around
getting that
Kawhi
bag, though.
now
He getting
always
that bag.
comes up short. The other player is Lonzo Ball. In 2022, Zoe had a small meniscus tear. I expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks, but he never came back. Okay, his recovery in Chicago became one of the strangest stories in recent NBA memory. He had issues walking upstairs and jogging. Doctors had no idea why he still experienced pain. So another surgery, I guess. And after no progress there, in 2023, he had a experimental cartilage transplant. Zoe eventually returned last year, but there are zero guarantees on his long-term play. But here's the scary part. Embiid is following the Lonzo Kawhi blueprint. Mysterious injuries, repeat surgeries, zero answers. So an anonymous NBA medical person told Clutch Points, when you have a second surgery to attempt to fix the initial problem, and then you have more complications, that's never a good sign. Few players have been able to come back from multiple surgeries and injuries to the same part of their body, which is what Joel is trying to achieve. Not good. So yeah, the NBA knows this, and they're like, oh, we've seen this movie before, and it's not going to end well. So Philly, bye-bye. Then Paul George is banged up, multiple issues last year, hurts himself again while training this offseason, has to have surgery. But what if the NBA is wrong? What if they're counting Philly out when they're actually the exact team who is built for this? See, when they drafted VJ
I do like
Edgecombe at
Edgecombe.
number
I
3
do
this
like
summer,
him, bro. He's gonna be
It wasn't just
tough.
about his talent. It was
I'll buy a t-shirt.
strategy. A lot of people thought that they would trade that pick to get an established vet because they're in win now mode, but that would have been expensive. The Sixers are already paying Embiid $55.2 million and PG $51.6 million this upcoming season.
PG's making that much money?
He's on a rookie scale contract, which means he's cheap. But if he produces even close to expectation, that is massive value on the floor. It's how Philly can afford to have $107 million worth of Embiid and PG sitting while still having a playoff caliber team on the court. But if they
I don't
had
disagree.
flipped
I think
that
they'll be
pick
playoff
for
caliber
another
for
vet,
sure.
they'd be top heavy and out of depth. So yeah, the Sixers saw this all coming, and the rest of the league's gonna find out if this plan works. So how will they actually pull this off? Well, the realistic path is not a number 1 seed for the Sixers. I think the Cavaliers basically have that locked up. Maybe the Knicks are right there. Watch out too for Orlando, who's improved with Desmond Bane, but no guarantee. I think if Embiid and PG play around 50 games each, then Philly profiles as a 5 or 6 seed, 4 at best. They just sit the vets in every single back-to-back, rest on road trips, and backload PG and Embiid's games in the year to build up chemistry and health. So the projected East standings, according to win totals, has the Cavs up top, followed by New York, then Philly all the way down around number 8 in the play-in. But there's a real chance they slide all the way up to 4 if they manage well and prove everybody wrong, especially those NBA schedule makers. But the real killer for Philly is going to be the next 4 years with Embiid and Paul George on the books for a max. In this second apron era, it's amazing to me that Philly made those mistakes. I mean, who are they even bidding against on Joel Embiid? Nobody else was going to pay him that money, and they did it early. Daryl Morey's supposed to be this GM genius. Well, dude got exposed with those awful deals. So the best case scenario for them is next season, because Embiid and PG ain't getting healthier than they are right now. All they got to do is manage those injuries and blow expectations out of the water. But speaking of the Cavs, did you see this Evan Mobley body transformation?
Bro, we ain't watching you on
the internet.
We ain't watching another video, bro.
That photo is fake. Yep, AI got him again. But Mobley already made a transformation.
I think he's just
He went from top 50
advertising his
players to
next
top 15
video.
last year. And if he leaps again, forget Anthony Edwards or Wemby. Dude's potential is the most underrated storyline in the NBA.
Did dude just say Evan Mobley's better than Anthony Edwards? Yo, I don't know if I can agree with anything this dude says, man. Hey, what are y'all thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers, man?